Good morning, Year 8. Welcome back after Easter. We've got an interesting lesson this week all about evolution by artificial selection. Some of this will be familiar, so to be a revision. Some of it will be new, and we've got some practice writing to do, which is always good. So you will need your books and a couple of pens and a pencil to take part in this lesson. You've got a do now on the first slide. Remember, you can pause the video while you answer the question. You've got to find the odd one out in each row. The answers follow on the next slide. So remember, pause it while you answer, then have a look to the next slide to see if you got it right. Okay, so the answers are, the first line were all solids at room temperature apart from gases at room temperature apart from carbon, which is a solid at room temperature. Think about diamonds, think about coal. The next row were all organelles within cells. A nucleus is found in plant and animal cells. The other ones are all only found in plant cells. And the last four are all fuels, but wood is a source that can be replaced quickly, whereas oil, gas and coal are all fossil fuels made from the remains of dead organisms that died millions of years ago. Right, here come our objectives. You have three things that we're going to do through this tutorial. You're going to know what artificial selection is. You're going to be able to explain how it is used and understand why. And we're going to practice extended writing. This is a key skill that we will need going into Year 9. And you will be emailing your work to me, and then we'll have some whole class feedback. Right, we've looked at Punnet squares in the past. These show us the genes that can be inherited from two parents as a result of sexual reproduction. This is reproduction where there is one gamete from the male, one gamete from the female, and the resulting offspring are slightly different from both of the parents, but they have characteristics inherited from each. This is different to reproduction where you produce an identical clone of the original parent. That doesn't have variation. Sexual reproduction allows us to have variation. A capital letter is for the dominant gene. This is the one that will be seen. A lowercase letter is for a recessive gene. It's still there in the DNA, but you can't see its effect if you've got a dominant one as well. So this is our Punnet square. If you had a male that's double H, a female that's capital H, lowercase h, the offspring would be male and female, two double H's, capital H's. They would have blonde hair because that's the only genes they've got. If you have a capital H and a lowercase h, the hair would look blonde, but the gene for red hair could be passed on to offspring. If you have two lowercase h's, that is when you have a red-headed child. Even if the parents both appear to have blonde hair, you can still get a red-headed child. And these chances are given as ratios: 1 in 4, 2 in 4, 1 in 4. Doesn't mean you will get exactly that number. That is the chance, the probability that it will occur. Now, this can be used deliberately by farmers when they're breeding a crop. You've got an offspring which has got a measurable characteristic. The example we have the Punnet square, the hair is very easy to see. You could also have the weight of an animal that's being grown for food. You could have the volume of milk that is produced by cows. You could have the mass of food produced from a crop such as wheat. And the farmer is obviously going to want the yield that is best for him or her. It could be having more of it, i.e. greater mass, or it could be having a resistance to a disease because they don't want a disease to wipe out their crop, because then they haven't got anything to sell and to get their money back. The farmer will breed this next generation using the offspring with the preferred characteristic, whether that is a higher yield, as in more of it, or whether it is resistance to a disease. Because of that, think about the percentages we have before. More of the offspring are going to have the desired characteristic. those are going to be the ones that will go forward and be bred from, and over a large number of generations the whole population will end up having the desired characteristic. And these crops can be food, such as wheat or potatoes or beef. It could be flowers, where you want a certain colour or an amount of fragrance, or it can even be used by breeders of dogs and cats. They want to make a new breed, or they want to get a breed that is going to do really well at a competition such as Crufts. Now here's an example in real life. You probably don't know that back in the 1700s most carrots were actually purple. That was the original naturally occurring colour for carrots, purple. There are a few orange ones. People preferred the orange colour. They found it more appetising. You think about it, there's not a lot of blue or purple foods around. So farmers knew that if they had more orange carrots, they could sell them for more money or sell them more easily. So they bred the orange plants together. Over time, more and more of the offspring would be produced that had orange carrots themselves. And eventually, over many generations, all carrots, or very nearly all of them, had orange roots. You are today able to get seeds to make purple carrots, but they are actually more expensive because people think it's unusual and they will pay more for it. Now the order of the events here is important, so you need to notice what was the original condition. Then you need to think what is the desired or preferred condition. Then you need, after that, you're thinking about breeding, you're thinking about offspring, and you're thinking about an eventual change over many generations. The key words here have been underlined. You will need to know what those phrases mean. You will might want to copy them down, because you are going to do the next question yourself in ordering the events just like the carrots, but for a different organism, and you'll need to use the key vocabulary. So here comes your question. Jersey cows. Lovely cow, not at all scary. And they originally came from the island of Jersey, hence their name. And they are cows that produce really creamy milk. Lots of people will pay more money for it. And because they produce such lovely milk, the farmers want them to produce more and more. Now, using the carrot example we've already looked at, you have to explain how Jersey cows have been bred to produce more milk. Try to use the key underlined phrases that was in the previous example. If you've downloaded this video, you can obviously go backwards to have a look at the previous example. Use that as a model. Use it as a scaffold. You don't have to invent it. You've got that there as an example to help you. Remember, you can pause the video while you do this. You don't have to do it quickly before I change slides. And here is a suggestion of the answer. The words in red are the underlined phrases that we want to have included. This includes the key terms, the key vocabulary that we are trying to learn from this lesson, because that is the vocabulary we need to get good marks. You do need to have the phrases in the right order. So if you've got the right phrases and the wrong order, you are going to need to go back and have a think about why you went wrong and how you can make sure that you didn't make that mistake again. So your key phrases: natural variation, breeding, offspring, and very importantly at the end, eventually, time connective, over many generations. So none of these changes are instant. They take a long time to occur and to be seen. Now, once you've got that sorted out and you're sure about the key phrases, you've got an extended writing challenge coming up. So here is your extended writing challenge. I'm not providing a model answer for that on the video. You will need to email me your answer. You can take a photograph of it, or you can actually type it out into an email, entirely up to you. I will give feedback to both classes separately about this. Now, you've got some information here. This is about brain development as humans have developed. So you've got brain capacity, and that's being measured in cc's. That is a cubic volume measurement. And you've got time. So you've got 3.5 million years ago, 3 million years, 2 million years, and the present time. You can see quite clearly that the shape of the skulls has changed. And as it has changed, it has allowed a bigger space for a brain. So the brain fits into the space inside the back of the skull. And the bigger the space, the bigger the brain. We know that humans reproduce sexually, and as they reproduce sexually, that means that they are able to share genes from one generation to the next. This is an evolutionary change, so it's a change that happens over a long time. You've got keywords here, you can use them. Now, on the right hand side, you have got 9 words to try and use in your answer. The top box, sexual reproduction, variation, DNA, are each worth 1 point. So if you use all 3 of those, you will get 3 points. The second box, the words are worth 2 points each. So generations, reproduce, and gametes. 3 words, 2 points each. That's another 6. So that's 9 points available already. The last box, so they are the big scorers. Alleles, chromosomes, eukaryote. 3 points each. That's another 9. So there's a maximum 18 points if you use all the words that are in the boxes in your answer correctly. So have a think about it. Do yourself a little plan. Think about how you're going to explain it, what order it needs to go into, because remember, when we mark these extended writing questions, there are points given for grammar and ordering, and it needs to make sense to the person reading it. When you do your answer, either underline or highlight the words that you're using that have the points with them, and see how high your score can go. This will need to be emailed to me. I think I've said it before, I'm going to say it again just to make sure that we're really clear on that. Right, a little bit of fun for when we finish. This is a song. This is going to give you a hint as to what the next lesson is about. I would suggest, if you've got a study buddy, you phone them up, you put it up on your laptop at the same time, and you have a bit of fun. Spoiler alert, it is really fast. It's a bit of a challenge keeping up with it, but I'm sure you're up for it. Then right at the very end, we are going back to our objectives from the beginning. Do you know what artificial selection is? Can you explain how artificial selection is used? And really importantly, have you remembered to email your practice extended writing to me? There is a deadline for this work. I need to have it by the 19th. You have also got Seneca learning to do this week as well. All of this is on Go for Schools, and it's in an email from me. And of course, you can message me if you have any questions before you actually have to send me your answer. Take care, stay safe, hope to see you soon.